Hey everybody, welcome back to part 3 of the Game Room tour where we're going to go into the actual game room here. As you can see, I'm still here in the game storage area. And first I would just like to give a shout out to my awesome nephew Garrett. And he actually told me at our last family get-together that he told his friends about me and they think he's full of crap. They think that there's no way somebody could have that many games or that many game systems or whatever. I don't know, but you know, if any of them are watching this, let me clue you guys in. I don't have a lot of game systems, and though what I'm going to show you may seem like a lot to some people, I've got a handful of game systems. Mostly just the mainstream ones. I know people that have over 100 consoles. I know people that have thousands and thousands of games. I don't have a lot. But I'm going to prove to you that what Garrett is saying is true. But anyway, let's go ahead and start off with these 3 systems I showed you in the last video, which are not in the main game room because I just don't have room for them in that entertainment center. And as you can see on the bottom there, I got the Atari 2600, that is the Heavy Sixer. I've got a Model 1 Master System, and I've got up top there a Model 2 Genesis, a Model 2 Sega CD, and a 32X, the Sega Death Star, as some would like to say. These systems are sitting in here because I just don't have room in that entertainment center, but in the new game room, they will be going with the retro systems. They will be hooked up in another entertainment system, so I'm going to kind of separate the old consoles and the new consoles into 2 separate kind of rigs, you know. So there will be room for them. They're just in here for now, and if I want to get them out and play them, I can. I can hook them up, and I'll show you how I do that as we go into the game room, which let's do that now. And so we just walk through the bathroom here. And I'm just going to sit down on my beanbag chair here, and we're going to talk about this. Alright, so this is my current setup. And as you can see up top there, just got a 40-inch LCD TV. And then I have all my video game systems kind of just lined around it here. Actually, let me show you first how everything's hooked up. Now, as you can see, I've got the N64 out here from doing that Banshee Boardwalk run. Now, all these systems, none of them are hooked up except for that N64 and the modern systems like the Wii, the Wii U, the 360, and the PS3. Everything, all the retro systems are just kind of sitting there on display, sort of like they were the 3 in the other room are. And let me show you why that is. I just didn't want to cut holes in everything, but I've decided in the next setup, all consoles will be hooked up all the time. I just want to be able to just put a game in any one of them whenever I want to and just push the power button and go, rather than doing it how I have it set up now, which is this. So as you can see, how I've got it set up is one console is hooked up at a time. So like right here, here's the N64. It's hooked up, but back here, if you can see, here's all the cables for all those different systems. And basically what you do is you just grab the cables for the one that you want to hook up, plug them in. These happen to be for the Master System and the Genesis. Well, Model 1 Genesis, that is. So you just grab the cables that you want, hook into what system you want, and there you go. It works, but now I power all of them off because I don't want all of those drawing juice, and plus having all that kind of stuff, it's really a fire hazard to have all that on. So I suggest if you've got, because everything's got power back there, but the power strip is just switched off. If you've got it set up like that, I suggest you do the same thing. Switch that power strip off. It's just a good idea all around. But anyway, and then you can see at the bottom there's the switch box for all of them. So that's kind of how it's set up. But let's talk about the actual systems themselves. Now, just start with the N64 here. The N64, I got this N64 shortly after launch. I bought it from a friend of mine who he bought it at launch, and got Mario 64 with it. And I mean, to be honest with you, I was not rooting for the Nintendo. I was for the N64. I was rooting for the Saturn down here. I was like, that's going to destroy this. And the PlayStation, that wasn't even on my radar. But no, he got the N64, and I ended up playing it at his house, and I got hooked. I had to have it. So when he decided he wanted a PlayStation 1 instead, and decided to sell this, I bought this thing right away. I was like, I want that. And thank goodness he's like me. Saved the box, the foam inserts, all the manuals, the plastic, everything. I mean, it's complete as if it just came from the store. So I was real excited to grab this from him. And I love the N64. A lot of people don't like it, but it's a system I really love. And now let's talk about the NES here. I've said this on the channel quite a few times. Every kid, it seemed like to me, every kid I knew growing up had one of these, except me. So my experience was always playing this at other people's houses. So I didn't get to play a lot of the games. Like, people are flabbergasted at the fact that I'm like, I've never played this game or that game, or I haven't played much of those games. You know, a lot of popular NES titles, but I actually, my parents had bought me one for Christmas, but I ended up getting really excited about a basketball hoop, and they took it back and bought me the basketball hoop instead. So yeah, funny story there. I'm actually kind of happy they didn't get me this, just because, well, I don't know. I just like the way things turned out, but I love the NES. It's one of my favorite systems. Sitting next to that is, of course, the Super Nintendo, which is also one of my favorite systems. I had the Genesis growing up, and my best friend Carl had the Super Nintendo. And I played the hell out of both. I loved going over to their house and playing games on the Super Nintendo. I had to get one. That's all there was to it. I had to buy one, and this is the one I ended up picking up at a Game Force in Longmont, Colorado. And I can't even remember when I bought this NES, but it was while I was in Colorado as well, so I didn't get the NES till much later. But then there's the Atari Jaguar, whatever you want to say. I bought this from another friend in Colorado. I kind of really liked Syndicate and Wolfenstein 3D on this, and that's really kind of why I got it. There's not a whole lot of good games for the Jag, but well, there you go. And now collecting for it is getting even the is it's just really, it's ridiculous to collect for. And anyway, then there's the Genesis, the system I got, the first system that I ever got. And you guys know all about that. I don't need to really say much. Probably my favorite retro, well, my favorite console, period. But and then there is the PlayStation 1. For me, the sleeper hit, because I never even cared about the PlayStation 1, and it ended up being the most popular system of its generation. But the funny thing is, this actual PlayStation I sold to a friend of mine. I actually sold it to his mother. I was working at Target in the electronics department at the time. It was Christmas, and she was buying a Christmas present for him, and this is what she got. Was this actual PlayStation. This was the PlayStation I sold to her. And the funny thing is, he ended up giving it to me because he insisted on it. He owed me money from playing pool, which is another thing he insisted on doing. I love to play pool. I'm all right at it. And it's a long story, but let's just say that he lost to me a lot. And this is one of the things I ended up getting out of that. But anyway, next to that is the Saturn, the system I thought was going to win that generation because I was a Sega fanboy at the time, thanks to the Genesis. And unfortunately, it was the loser by a long shot. Well, I guess that's not fair because there were a lot of consoles that lost even bigger than the Saturn, so, and it actually was a pretty big system in Japan, so. And the irony is, I didn't get one until last year. So, yeah. Now, moving on. There's just my center speaker that's got the two Wii sensor bars, the Wii and the Wii U, and then there is the GameCube, which I got this for Christmas from my parents for some odd reason. I don't know why they got it for me that year. I never asked for it, but that's what I got for Christmas, and pretty happy with it. I'm glad they did. It's a fun system. It's not my favorite system. There's not a ton of games that I really like on it, but I enjoy it, and in my opinion, it's worth having for Mario Kart Double Dash alone. But there are a lot of other great games on it. But then we have my fatty PlayStation 2. I bought this for two games, Gran Turismo 3 and Tekken Tag Tournament. That's the only reason I bought this system. I had to have it for those two games. So I bought it with those two games, a couple of controllers, and a memory card. And I'll tell you, that was an expensive endeavor back then, being, just out of high school and working at, I still worked at Target at the time, or I don't know. Let's just say I was not rolling in the money. But yeah, still one of I think it's like the GameCube. It's not that great of a system to me. There's not a ton of games I want for it, but definitely awesome system. Heck, it's one of the best-selling consoles of all time, so take that for what it's worth. And then we have the Dreamcast, a system which I think is incredibly underrated, like a lot of Sega fanboys would say. Thanks to Sega, this system did not sell well. And it has so much potential. A lot of great games for this. Pretty easy to collect for. If you want to collect a lot of awesome games, get a Dreamcast. The Xbox. Bought this on a whim. I was working for Provo City, basically running fiber throughout the city. And one of the projects we were going to work on is something we were going to try to partner with Microsoft with, and so everybody on the team was getting an Xbox, so I bought one. And that's pretty much it. I don't really care for the Xbox all that much. Of that generation, the Xbox is my least favorite, and I also just assume that it's the least reliable of the group, so I don't know. But anyhow, then over here, up top, I just have my Wii U gamepad. That's the controller for my music streamer. A couple of magazines. I still need to get to reading, but up top there, that is the actual device that streams my music, a satellite dish receiver, and a Blu-ray player. And actually behind all of that mess is my Roku 3, which I watch YouTube on most of the time. Now down below there, at the bottom here is my AV receiver. This is my 7.1 surround sound receiver that's going to be on, of course, the modern consoles and the Blu-ray player and whatnot. But now, as you can see here, I've got the PS3 and the 360. Both of these are kind of similar. I bought them also on a whim. The 360 I bought mainly because I was hooked on Guitar Hero and Rock Band type games at the time. My sister and my brother-in-law brought it up for Christmas one day. Their Wii with Guitar Hero 3, and I got hooked. I was like, I love these games. I love guitar. I love music, and there was a lot of good songs on it. So I ended up getting the 360, and then getting pretty much every one of the games on there. I've got a ton of instruments for it, so I'm pretty deep into it on that, and that's a lot of the games that I have for the 360. But and then the PS3 I got because, well, there's started to be a lot of good games that I wanted on it. Fighting games and Gran Turismo 5 was on there, so I just ended up getting a PS3 for whatever reason. But then I've got the Wii and the Wii U. The Wii U, I've told you guys why I bought this, because they came out with Mario Kart 8 and made a bundle, and I just had to buy it. So I ended up buying it, and there were so many other great games for it, but I was just waiting for that one thing to just push me off the fence, and Mario Kart 8 was it. The Wii, I gotta tell you, there's so much shovelware and crap on this system, and I hate the Wii motion controls, but there are some good games for it, so it was worth getting. At the time, brand new system for 40 bucks on eBay. I mean, yeah, I wasn't going to turn that down, but anyway, that's it for the consoles. Well, at least the actual consoles. I'll show you the handhelds in a second. But yeah, here's my handheld games. So you can see I got just a few Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. Got my Game Boy Advance games. Many there. I don't have a lot of handheld games. My DS and 3DS games, and those are Game Gear games. Then we come over here to my Sega cartridge games. So up here we have my Master System games. And we have some 32X games. That's the only loose Genesis cart I have because I need to play it to see if I actually want to keep it. But the only Sega card game I have, that is my new Nintendo 3DS, and basically just a stand for the Wii U gamepad. But as you can see, got a bunch of Genesis games. Nearing the point of having all the ones that I really want that I can afford within reason. So yeah, lots of Genesis games. And then over here we have my Super Nintendo games. Not a lot of these because, well, Super Nintendo is very expensive to collect for. Then I have my few Atari 2600 games that I put in cases, as well as my 4 Atari Jaguar games. And then some more retro magazines. Then we've got N64 games. Pretty much done collecting for the N64, I think. But yeah, Blu-rays, whatever. PlayStation 1 games. PlayStation 2 games, like I told you, not very many. PlayStation 3, Xbox at even less. Xbox 360. We got GameCube. Yeah, the Wii U there. We got the Wii. There's your Sega CD, Sega Saturn, and Sega Dreamcast. And now we open up the closet here. See, got a bunch of Game Pros, Sega Visions, different gaming magazines. There's your strategy guides there. GameCube 4-player adapter for the Wii U. And some cases for some handhelds. And then you can see this is where I keep all my controllers in these kind of plastic bins. Kind of dark, I know, but as you can see, we got all the different controllers, and this is going to be set up differently in the new game room, but you can see I've got my handhelds in here. I've got a Nomad, Game Gear, the Game Boy Color, a Game Boy Advance SP, the Nintendo NES version. I got some Tiger LCD games. I've got the regular SP, or not SP, the regular Game Boy Advance. And then I also have a standard Game Boy under there. The different plugs for all of them. Sorry if the lighting really sucks, but and then I've got some Guitar Hero guitars there. Lots of extension cords for all the controllers. That's pretty much all that's in there that's gaming related. And here's the NES collection, which I wish was bigger as well, but collecting for this is like the Super Nintendo. It's just ridiculous. But I have a lot of good ones for the system, but not that you can see because You know, and I'll probably do a collection video at some point, but then in this bottom drawer that's on my dresser is just some kind of miscellaneous type crap. As you can see, that's my camera, my tripod, the microphone, and some lighting for doing videos. But last thing I want to show you is right here, a bunch of manuals for the game systems and games that just I don't have, can't put them in the cases. But anyhow, guys, that is pretty much it for the main game room. As you can see, it's sleeping on an air mattress for the time being for the next couple of weeks till we get out of here. But yeah, that is the game room. I know a lot of you guys have a lot more decorating going on than I do, but I only have one game-related poster there for Tekken Tag Tournament, but no boxes, no figurines, or just some Mario ones over there. I mean, really not much to speak of. We'll see how much that changes in the future, but yeah, that is the game room, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll do some update videos when I get into the new place and setting up the new game room to show you how things go along there. But thanks for tuning in, guys. If you got any comments or questions, leave them down below, and I will see you guys with the next video.